Welcome to Books for Success. Today, we're delving into the wisdom within Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. Read People Like a Book unravels the complex tapestry of human behavior, guiding readers to decipher verbal and nonverbal signals broadcast by people 24/7. Marrying scholarly wisdom to sly real-world tales, the book presents the art and science of people reading with both flair and finesse. Dive in, and soon you'll be navigating human interactions like a seasoned anthropologist. Who's it for? Story seekers eyeing deeper connections, negotiators seeking an edge, HR specialists scouting the right talent. Before we begin, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications if you want to keep receiving the knowledge of book summaries about health, wealth, love, psychology, and much more. Don't be shy about dropping your book suggestions for us to summarize. Also, you can use this video as an audiobook summary. Let's grow and succeed together. What's in it for me? Master people reading for more fruitful social navigation. You've seen it before, someone seamlessly connecting with another, picking up on the unsaid, understanding what's beneath the surface. If you've ever wished you could do the same, here's the secret. It's not some innate gift, it's a learnable skill. Imagine confidently navigating conversations, catching the hidden layers, and gracefully steering relationships. Reading people isn't just about noticing a glance or a fleeting smile. It's in the words chosen, the pauses taken, the postures adopted. At the heart of this is the theory of mind, a term in psychology that describes our ability to understand and predict another person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Essentially, we're constructing a mental representation of their mindset. But here's a caveat, these representations are just approximations. They can't capture the full depth and intricacy of any individual. After all, every person is a unique blend of experiences, beliefs, and emotions. So, while our instincts about people's intentions can be helpful, they're not infallible. We're all products of diverse backgrounds and paths, and our intuition alone won't wholly define anyone. That's why we must spend more time sharpening our observations with data, pattern identification, and more science-backed steps before making any conclusions. And with this summary, we're here to help you do just that. Whether to enhance your interpersonal skills, make more informed decisions based on people's genuine intentions, or simply navigate social scenarios more effectively, the tools and insights you'll soon discover will help elevate your game. Ready to dig deeper? Motivation. Why people do what they do. Every action stems from a hidden drive, shaping each decision we make. By understanding human motivation, you can gain deeper insight into why people do what they do and how their actions affect your psyche and decisions. Many psychological concepts can guide you through the maze of human motivation, but these three stand out: the shadow self, the inner child, and Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. Let's talk about the shadow first. According to analytical psychology master Carl Jung, the shadow comprises the parts of yourself that you hide away from yourself and others. Picture a straight-A student who, after years of being the model child to his parents, suddenly rebels and parties beyond curfew. That's him expressing his shadow, which stored his deep desire to be free and do as he pleases for years. By acknowledging that the shadow exists for everyone, including you, you'll be more prepared to understand why others do what they do and plan the steps to communicate effectively with them. Speaking of effective communication, it's essential to know when you're dealing with someone's shadow or their inner child. While the two can feel similar, they are different concepts. The inner child echoes our childhood experiences and how these events have molded our responses to the world as adults. Witnessed a colleague's inexplicable tears after minor criticism? It might be an old wound from their earliest days of facing relentless mockery at school. Your feedback was just the unexpected trigger. Faced unexpected fury from a friend recently? He may be channeling anger at past traumatic events. When you can spot the inner child acting out, it's easier not to take people's reactions personally and know when to extend a helping hand or a comforting hug. Next up is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Think of it as a mountain climb. At the base camp, we address basic physiological needs like food and shelter. As people ascend, they start tackling mental goals like belonging and self-esteem. At the summit is self-actualization. When people are at this level, they will be all about realizing their fullest potential, akin to a mountaineer reaching a peak. Recognizing which level someone is at helps you interact with them accordingly. For instance, a counselor might vary her support based on whether someone needs basic sustenance or is searching for a higher purpose. So by connecting all the dots, the shadow's secrecy, the inner child's whispered concerns, and the level of one's individual needs, you can better see what motivates other people's behavior in any given situation, know your place in it, and act accordingly. Speaking of seeing it, did you know that the face and body are constantly giving out information? Find out how, next. The face and body's silent dialogues. While words often dominate our conversations, the silent symphony of our facial and bodily expressions plays an equally important and telling role, if not more so. There's logic behind the adage, actions speak louder than words. It's not just about what we say, but how our nonverbal cues, especially our micro-expressions, silently punctuate those words. As first introduced by Haggard and Isaacs and later refined by Paul Ekman, micro-expressions are fleeting facial movements that last mere seconds. These lightning-quick changes provide windows into our genuine emotions, often bypassing our conscious control. Consider Ekman's findings of 6 universally recognized emotions. For happiness, imagine the subtle upturn of the lips and the minute crinkles near the eyes. These are universal indicators, but are often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of communication. However, the story doesn't end with the face. Our entire body is a canvas, painting our emotions in real time. Drawing from insights by Joe Navarro, a former FBI agent with a keen eye for body language, each gesture, posture, and stance we adopt tells a tale. Navarro's experience of learning English after emigrating from Cuba as a child attuned him to the body's rich lexicon. He sheds light on, tells, those nuanced movements that unwittingly reveal our true feelings. Remember, when the mouth lies, the body often confesses. Now, back to you. Want to crack the code of nonverbal communication? Here's the 4-part guide you've been looking for. First, learn to recognize a person's baseline behavior. Spend time getting familiar with his everyday gestures and expressions. This way, you can spot deviations from his usual norms in crisis-driven situations. Second, get better at recognizing patterns of those deviations. Monitor for any unusual or out-of-character behavior. For instance, note when someone who's usually calm starts nervously playing with her hair. Third, collect evidence, because data matters. Don't jump to conclusions based on isolated gestures alone. Instead, consider the context in which these repeated actions occur to start building a fuller picture of the person you're dealing with. Last but not least, look out for any mirroring behavior. If someone unconsciously mimics your gestures, it often indicates they genuinely agree with you and prioritize rapport. While words form a part of our communication, our facial expressions and body movements might hold deeper truths. So, when observing people, don't just listen with your ears. Watch, observe, and interpret their moves in the flesh. The real story lies as much in the visual cues as in the spoken. Combined, these 2 dimensions pave the way for more insights into someone's personality, a process we'll uncover next. The nuanced nature of personality. Have you ever wondered how some people command attention effortlessly while others just want to observe the scene quietly from a corner? These behavioral tendencies aren't just fleeting moments in time, but deep-seated patterns that indicate personality types. Personality is a mosaic of distinct traits and tendencies that evolve throughout an individual's life. It's an insight into where people fall on different behavioral spectrums. Observing a repeated gesture or consistent preference reveals more than just that isolated behavior. It's a window into the ever-evolving personality it belongs to. By now, you've guessed right, the human personality is complex. So diving deep into it might seem daunting, but you can gain insight through personality tests. While numerous assessments exist to support you, 3 are best known for their proven efficacy: the Big 5, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, and David Kiersey's 4 temperaments. The Big 5 framework is rooted in decades of psychological research. It breaks down personalities into 5 primary dimensions: openness to new experiences, conscientiousness or attention to detail, extrovert versus introvert tendencies, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Each dimension in and of itself is a broad spectrum, which is why the human personality is so nuanced and complex. Yet the Big Five is just one perspective. Based on Jung's lifelong insights, the MBTI system offers another perspective. Here, personalities are defined using combinations of 4 dichotomies: extroverted versus introverted, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, and judging versus perceiving. For example, an ESTJ profile, which stands for extroverted, sensing, thinking, and judging, typically describes someone high-strung and favoring practicality and organization. On the other hand, INFP, which represents introverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving, captures a primarily reflective and idealistic person. While applying the test to your observation of people, it's worth remembering that personalities are in flux and tend to evolve due to life experiences and surroundings. Now, here's where Kiersey's interpretation of the MBTI can further sharpen your people reading approach. The American psychologist and professor clustered individuals into 4 temperaments: the community-minded guardian, the spontaneous artisan, the introspective idealist, and the knowledge-hungry rational. So why the focus on temperaments? He believed people could better understand their intrinsic beliefs and behaviors and change their personalities by self-exploration through these categories. From here, you can bet that while many people tend to think, say, do, and act in patterns, they can also decide to change themselves. In short, these different personality frameworks can enrich your observation of human behavior. By logically decoding these underpinnings, you can approach the intricacies of human interactions with curiosity rather than personal emotions, and amp up your people skills through intentional communication. As you sharpen this skill set, you'll be better poised to master the next area of people reading: unmasking deception. Uncovering the lies between the lines. The instinctive need to read people boils down to the fact that we all lie, for good and bad reasons. If that weren't the case, and we appeared as we truly are at face value, we wouldn't need to read each other in the first place. More often than not, you want to decode others' motivations, expressions, and personalities for reasons other than plain curiosity. Maybe you're here to learn how to shield yourself from unnecessary social issues caused by deception, manipulation, or hidden agendas. Let's face it. To navigate life as safely as possible, we must be able to decipher when people, from our partners and parents to our colleagues and strangers, are bending the truth at our expense. So, enter the art of reading between the lines. It's a great defense mechanism against murky intentions and helps you distinguish liars from truth-tellers. Of course, a caveat must come with this: it's still more art than science. Although we'll arm ourselves with tools and insights, no method comes with a guarantee that it's foolproof. Here's why. Human beings, with their unique personalities and backgrounds, are complex. Back to the main point: how do we know when someone's lying? Many assume lies can be detected purely from those shifty eyes, slurry stutters, or nervous tics in interactions. But it truly takes a conversation or more to spot a liar, because context matters, and a person's motivation to lie takes time to discern. Engaging the suspected liar strategically can often reveal inconsistencies. For instance, if someone regales you with a tale of an evening spent with a friend, gently probing with open-ended questions can sometimes expose the flaws in their narrative. Interestingly, liars tend to offer richly detailed accounts up front and falter when pressed further. Gathering data from all of this takes time. Besides taking the time to obtain correct information, you can leverage surprise as a tool in your arsenal. It's hard to maintain a fabricated story when caught off guard. We all know this from the white lies we've told. Cornering a liar spontaneously, when he is least prepared, can often lead to hasty, inconsistent stories. Here, observing behavioral cues like heightened nervousness and drastic description changes can be telling. But some liars are more chronic than others, or even downright pathological. So how do you throw a seasoned one off their game? Here's where you increase their cognitive load. You see, truth-telling is relatively straightforward. You recall and relay. Lies, however, require active creation, a cognitive effort. Overloading a liar's cognitive processes, perhaps by introducing false information, asking questions to answers you already know to be accurate, or persistently pressing on inconsistencies, can cause their deception to crumble. As behavioral scientist and researcher Jay Olson highlighted, persuasion techniques can be ingeniously used to tease out the truth. Make them juggle too many balls, and they're bound to drop one. While we don't have a perfect radar for deception, enlisting strategic conversation, surprise, and cognitive challenges can considerably sharpen our observation skills, which we'll unpack in the next section. The power of great observation. Every second holds a valuable clue. While delving deep into a person's psyche often takes time, there are moments when we must discern character more rapidly, sometimes in mere minutes or seconds if needed. This urgency doesn't compromise accuracy. In fact, it can teach you to observe better in less time. So how can you do so and become the next Sherlock Holmes? First, leverage the power of thin slicing, that is, discerning significant patterns from limited information. Picture a job interview where, within minutes, something feels off about the interviewer. Instead of making a hasty exit, you opt for a second meeting to seek clearer insight. Subtle cues like evasive body language and inconsistent tales can hint at deeper issues. Still, you decide to research the company further, which leads you to discover that the role's predecessor had left due to harassment by a manager. As you can see, your swift intuition coupled with deliberate probing steers a vital yet time-sensitive decision. That's thin slicing in practice. Of course, swift deductions alone, however insightful, don't always paint the whole picture. So watch for clues in everyday behaviors. The easiest way to do this is to consider how people communicate via text or email. Word choices often reveal personality traits or emotional states. Excessive negativity, even if veiled, could hint at neurotic tendencies, while a measured vocabulary might exude positivity. Meanwhile, bombastic words could be an attempt to mask incompetence or project false intelligence. Follow in Holmes's footsteps further with cold reading. Clothing choices, for one, express a person's cultural affiliations, socioeconomic status, ambitions, and even religious beliefs. The same can be said of one's home and possessions, from decor to clutter. Expensive collectibles like paintings are identity-claiming artifacts, while self-help books are considered emotional regulators. Piled alcohol bottles and unwashed dishes are behavioral residues that reveal a person's true nature behind closed doors. Fourth, investigate online presence. A picturesque travel photo portrays wanderlust, while late-night email correspondence can indicate a night owl with a dysregulated circadian rhythm. On the other hand, a carefully curated LinkedIn profile can point to career ambitions and workplace contributions that can all be cross-examined against in-person quirks. Ultimately, mastering the art of observation is all about tuning into these silent broadcasts of information around you. As you hone it, you'll inevitably navigate the complexities of human interactions with greater ease and coexist with others better. Final words. People are indeed like books. Some are more open, while others are more complex. But no matter where they are on the spectrum, everyone's a walking and living story that's waiting to be studied and understood. By mastering the art of people reading, you can unveil truths in the stories around you and use them to inspire your own storytelling and live to tell your best tale yet. Thanks for being part of our insightful voyage. If our summary piqued your interest, we encourage you to dive into the complete book for a deeper understanding. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content if you're new here, and share it with others who might find it valuable. Keep on reading, discovering, and advancing until our next adventure.